Hey guys, I'm Matt Lighty, and in this video I am just going to show you how to craft a phys weapon. The principles are basically the same for a one-hand or a two-hand, and there's a bunch of different ways to go about it. So I'm going to cover all the basic ways in Solo Self-Found. I'm doing this in standard just because I have a fuck ton of resources. It works identical in League, obviously, and I'm also going to talk briefly about the Recombinator section in League and how that works, etc. So when it comes to crafting a physical weapon, the best way to just begin is you have to get a base, right? So how do you get a base? Well, there's a couple ways you could do it. So you have a couple options through Expedition. You have Gwen will show you bases that if your character's like above level 90 will be up to 86. Like here's a ID4 Seajax. It's good to identify what the roles are also, so let's take a brief look at the different roles and what you actually want from the item level. We'll just use one-hand axe as an example, right? So you have the three different physical roles are flat physical, which is flaring being the T1 that caps at eye level 77. You have percent physical, which is merciless, which is 83. And then you also have the hybrid physical, which is, I want to say conquerors or dictators. That's also 83. So TLDR, if you're trying to craft a physical weapon, eye level 83 is perfectly fine for the prefixes, which you always want triple prefix, right, for the phys stuff. Now, the suffixes, the only things you really care about typically are going to be attack speed, maybe crit rate, maybe crit royalty. Those are also pretty low. The thing that requires 84s is resistance, which you don't give a shit about. However, it is something to keep in mind if you're trying to craft a weapon for like the long term. Some of the specific influence rolls might require high levels. I don't really think there are any as we're looking through it here, but you know, it's just something to be cognizant of. So it looks like you're all good. So 83 is probably fine no matter what. Perfect. So once you identify you need 83, let's actually talk about getting a base. So we mentioned Gwen is one option. Rog is also another option. He has bases. So say you wanted a behemoth mace, boom, there's your I-85 behemoth mace. You could reroll him to find one. Reaver X is a very popular one, so we'll just take a Reaver X real quick. Even if you don't want to craft it through Rog, just to use it to get bases. Gwen is also good, like I mentioned. However, Gwen will only show items that can have a unique outcome. So, for example, Seajax is like the best fast attacking axe, and the reason a Seajax is here is because there is a unique Seajax. There's no unique Reaver X, I believe, so you won't ever see a Reaver X there. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to purchase bases. Now, another popular option for getting bases at the moment, aside from just mapping, which you could always just map, but we're trying to, like, you know, trying to get a base early on, is Faustus. So we're going to hop over to League real quick and show you what that's about. My ship has been commandeered by pirates, which you might think is a negative, but it's just 50,000 free coins. So Faustus here, from the League mechanic, has a black market section. Now, these bases are set up essentially based on just weapon types. So one-hand axe being a type, two-hand axe being a type, meaning you're not going to understand exactly what eye level they're going to be. And they all say 83 when you hover over them, but it actually could be higher than that. I need gold real quick, so I'm just going to go kill that Pirate King. I'll be back in 1 second. All right, there is my coins. Now I can go back to Faustus to show you how to get bases. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, so Faustus will give you high-level bases. It says 83, but as you see when I purchased one, that is 86. So if you wanted to, you know, specific bases, it's a little bit harder, but you can access Faustus earlier on. So getting a Reaver X might take me 5-6 attempts. But it's a way of getting 86 bases if you need that, and you didn't want to mess with expedition stuff like Rog or Gwen. Faustus is another great option. So those are the main routes of options I would recommend as one of those two for acquiring a base. Now let's go back to standard and talk about how to craft them. Okay, so we have our little Reaver X. Yeah, I'll do Reaver X. So Reaver X, there it is. I actually didn't have to scour it to make it quality now because they've changed the quality system, but that's fine. So there's about, I would say, 4 main ways you're going to craft an axe. And just to clarify, any of these 4 methods for crafting an axe or a phys weapon, etc., all of those roads lead to you wanting multiple bases, because if you get high flat on one or high hybrid or percent at another, you're just going to slap them together in a recombinator, which is why we're going to talk about that last, okay? So there's my axe. All right, now one of the ways I'm going to go with, almost going to go best to worst here. Best way to start making an axe, we're just going to make it rare real quick, is essence. Essence is numero uno. Now, basically what you want is you want to use deafening of contempt. There's shrieking of contempt. There's deafening of contempt. Do I have enough harvest juice to maybe force one? Let's find out. Oh, no, we're good. I have some more in League. I had some in my secret stash. There's a Deafening of Contempt. Now, a Deafening of Contempt is actually worse than the tier 1 flat roll, the flaring roll. So the best essence is worse than the best flat fizz. That's fine, though. It's basically as good. It's like 95% as good. So you can see the top end here is 47. And the top end flat fizz on an axe is 45 to 52, and then the deafening is 40 to 47. So not quite as good, but I think better than tier 2, right? Yeah, better than tier 2. So it's like tier 1.5. That's what a deafening is. So you slapped it on there, and boom, you've got an axe that now has a flat prefix, okay? A big old essence prefix. And this one actually hit damage over time as a suffix. That's kind of cool. Now, what you could do from here is you could craft on up to 129% physical. And you know what? With an axe that has this amount of flat and 129% physical, on a 5-link, I set up my entire atlas. So that's like, just for context, that's good enough to do most stuff, all right? So I'm just going to show you what this looks like, okay, on a Reaver axe. So if I just to craft this, ooh, a 117. So my top end now is about 420, and that's not bad at all. Now, again, if you want to check, there's a ton of tools I can use to check this. We could just do the actual manual math here to show you how to calculate DPS on a weapon. It's bottom end plus top end divided by 2 times attack speed. Okay, so 156 plus the 419, okay, equals divided by 2 times our attack speed of 1.2. This is a 345 P DPS, or physical DPS weapon. If you're playing a bleed build, the attack speed matters a little bit less if you're not Crimson Dance, but that's it. So that is a perfectly acceptable weapon to use for a while, right? That's fine if you have that. No big deal. But we want to do better than that. So what do? Well, basically you could just keep slamming on these essences until your slam actually hits percent also. That's one way you could do it. Now, again, we mentioned recombinators. Anytime you slam one of these essences onto something and it doesn't hit what you want to set this axe aside and then get a new one, okay? You want to get a new one because eventually you could just recombinate these bad boys together. Now, the next method of crafting, which I'm going to put at the second best method probably, is jagged fossils. So what a jagged fossil does is it says you have more physical modifiers, a higher chance to roll more physical modifiers. And you want to combine a jagged fossil. Typically, I like to combine it with bound. Where's bound? It's around here. Dense, sorry, dense. Because an annoying thing is like a life leech or mana leech. I don't really like those prefixes. If we take a look real quick back at Path of Exile, you can see if we were to craft a prefix heavy type of phys axe, it's probably going to recommend a corroded as our 2 slot. So we're just going to click all triple, click on fossil. We're going to say max 2 because that's a realistic spammable resonator. Jagged and sanctified, well, we're not going to use sanctified. So let's click on sanctified, right click it, and recompute. Okay, so no sanctified. Yep, so there's the corroded, and as I recommended, dense as the other one. So the odds of hitting triple is 1 in 600 kajillion billion, right? Obviously. But it's actually not as bad as this is making it seem, because we don't need all tier 1. Let's go down to tier 3 in all these, okay? Let's go to tier 3 in all these. So 1, 2, and 3. Now what is the odds to hit all 3? Now it is 1 in a, quadrillion. But what if we make it so instead of just hitting the percent, we put this on the same roll? Okay, so 1 in 1,740. Now we do one of any of these rolls, 1 in 14. Okay, so there's a way we could keep kind of figuring out how to hit these, and it just goes to show how you're going to get a large amount of multiple physical rolls with this sort of thing. So we'll do a couple of these to show you what this looks like. All this is going to do is going to just prevent a certain tags, no chaos, no life. And it's going to promote physical. So when you use it on an item, it's going to have probably a couple physical rolls. So there you go. Terribly low, terribly bad. But it just has a high chance of hitting a couple. So there's flaring, which is the tier 1. Again, if you put on percent fizz on this bad boy, you've got a decent little weapon, right? That's not too bad. You set this aside, use it for recombinator. We're going to keep going just to show you what it looks like. But if you wanted to add something else to the mix, we could spice it up with a couple more things. So there's, where's corroded? Here's corroded. Corroded's a great one. This has more physical and no elemental modifiers, all right? So what does that actually mean for our odds here? If we switch this max resonator to 3, watch what happens here. This is going to be really, really crazy, because when you add a third fossil to the mix, hitting any of these tier 3 rolls is a 1 in 4. Hitting a combination of 2 or 3, very cooked still, but depending on the combination of 2 you do, it's actually not that bad. So let's see what that looks like. So if you do a triple craft, okay, dense, corroded, jagged, the odds of hitting physical rolls are much better. So there you go, we hit a percent, a flat, and a hybrid. All low, which is unfortunate, but it just goes to show, like, it's simply a matter of time. Now, delving kind of sucks, to be honest, even in SSF or in trade, but you could, you know, hit multiple physical rolls. There's, again, triple physical tags, and all you need to do is just get 2 out of 3 that are okay, and then that's where you set it aside and recombinate it with another thing, okay? Now, the third best method is the most bread and butter, in my opinion. All right, this is going to be just alteration spamming. I know alt-alt regal sounds miserable, and I would just chalk it up to about a third of the rolls you're going to probably roll past. And there's too many physical rolls to make a real regex for this, although you could try. But basically, you're going to alteration until you see tier 1 or 2 of any of the 3 physical rolls, flat, hybrid, or percent. And then you're going to aug and you're going to regal, and then you're going to set it aside. There's tier 1 hybrid, which is like best case scenario. We regaled it. Unironically, this is actually bad. We hit shitty percent. Now, this is, you know, we wanted to hit high percent, but we hit shitty percent. So, again, we could still set this aside, and that's a perfect example of something we could recombinate eventually. You just slap both things together in a recombinator, hope they come out good. But that's like your bread and butter crafting, is just slapping on alts and going for it. And the main thing I want to stress about this is because of the recombinator system, which in its rudimentary new form is not much more than take 2 items and slap them together and then just pray. Like, that's basically what it is, it seems like, at the moment, because it's so nerfed compared to old recombinators. Making something that's like not quite there is fine, because it's just fodder for recombinating. And more to the point, I wouldn't touch the recombinator until it's fully maxed, which, just so you know, is only rank 6. It's not rank 11, it's just rank 6. So it's not as bad to upgrade it. It does cost a lot of dust and gold, but, you know, don't worry too much. Wow, we hit dictators again, that time with tier 1 crit strikes. Pretty wild. Tier 1 flat, or percent, whatever. So, you know, there you go. So you got these 2. If I could slap these together, it's probably going to honestly remove both phys rolls, because fucking recombinators are just absolutely the worst. But there's no reason not to do it. This is what I mean. Like, when you get these attempts, there's not much more you could do with it from this point on. Like, you could block a suffix exalt and pray. You hit flat. But that's basically all you could do. And the third system we're going to talk about is harvest. Because, you know, actually, we could just do an exalt slam just to show, you know, just, this is what Chris wants, right? This is what our Lord and Savior Chris would want, just to slam it. Because maybe I almost hit the mirror. Just, maybe I'll actually hit flat. Nope, cold. There you go. We'll do one more exalt for memes. Fire. Fantastic. That's why you don't exalt. There's like a bajillion fucking rolls in there, so I wouldn't touch those. But another system. Again, this is all leading up to basically all these systems we're talking about. There's a chance they're going to get you an upgrade, a massive upgrade. You're going to go for the 3 phys rolls. You're going for the 2 high phys rolls, craft a third, right? But you're probably not going to get what you want. What you can do is also use harvest. Now, harvest is kind of like fossils, but worse. It's going to basically chaos the item, but guarantee a physical tag. Now, that physical tag could be hybrid, it could be flat, it could be percent at any rate, or it could be leech, right? There's a leech has a physical tag, unfortunately. So this is like ultimate shot in the dark meme tech, right? However, yeah, you could still hit a high roll. It's still possible. Like, there's Emperors, tier 2 hybrid, you know? So that would be worth setting aside and then recombinating, because there's just no reason not to. It's easy to get bases through Gwen, through Rog, through Faustus, that you just want to accrue them, and then you kind of just toss them to the wind. So those are the main 4 ways I would probably make your axes, and then just, you know, prep them to hopefully make something good on just your Essence Slam or on your Jagged Fossil. Probably not, and then you can recombine them. So let's do a quick recombinator example, just to show you what that looks like. But, you know, by now you should have a pretty good idea, at least, of the different routes to take. And as far as trees, it's kind of just like however you like it. Spec into Essence if you want Essence, max it out. Spec into Harvest if you want Harvest, max it out. Go do Delve if you like Delve, max it out. for these methods, like, I do think Essence is the best spamming Deafening of Contempts. You know, it's a good thing to do with Harvest because you can get Deafening Essences, right? And say you, like, get a bunch of one Essence, right? And you don't like what it is, you could just use this to swap it into another Essence. So get yourself a stack of, you know, whatever 9 you don't like, and then you swap all 9 over until you hit Essence of, you know, Contempt. So you could do Harvest and Essence as a combo thing, put on a little bit of Delve and then go Delve. Feel free to try multiple avenues because it's kind of good to work different angles at once. And that way you could, you know, maybe yield a positive result. So let's set ourselves up for a little Recombinator. I'm going to start with Alterationing because I have some alterations. And then we're going to... Oh no, I got memed on. Sometimes when you're Alterationing, you'll get a % physical roll and an accuracy roll that looks like a hybrid roll, but you can just hold Alt to see if you're actually getting fucking tricked by the masses. We're going to try to get a couple phys rolls here, and then recombinate them together, and then maybe get an upgrade, but... oh, there we go, perfect. Empress. Regal. Alright, well, it's got shit, but that's fine. It's got a hybrid roll. Let's get ourselves a second Reaver Axe. Does Rog have any? I mentioned Rog for getting bases. Just the reason I didn't mention Rog for making items, maybe thinking, well, Rog makes rares. He has a, when I say a massive hard-on for making elemental weapons. To make a triple phys weapon off of Rog is like an exercise in futility. Now, sometimes you'll get like a high phys roll like that, but I can even show this as an example. It's gonna be so difficult to try to get one. And again, this is not even on the right base, okay? But it does have a flat phys roll, so you could legally slap them together. The problem with recombinating different bases is I don't know which one it's going to take. And I don't want to butcher X, hypothetically, right? We could slap them together, you know. You want to do it, I'll do it. I'll do it for you. And, you know, again, if that flat phys goes to this axe with that hybrid, that's a huge fucking upgrade. So this is like, this is what we live for. So here's our max recombinator, maximum rank 6. It has a 5% chance for modifiers to upgrade tier. Sure. And then it has this line which says rare modifiers are more likely to be retained, which I just think is a lie from God. Now, what does a rare modifier mean? I assume it means a higher tier, but who knows? Now, recombinating costs dust and gold. Not a whole lot, but, you know. So we're going to recombine here, and if it doesn't take the Reaver Axe, I'm already sad. And if it takes both the rolls on the wrong axe, I'm probably double sad. So let's find out. Reaver Axe with... Yep, so this is like, you know, it ripped off my hybrid. But now I've got a Reaver Axe that has cold and fire, and then we still have the flaring, which is the flat phys. So I could still set that aside, and we could use that again. But... yeah, I don't know if that cold and fire might just be haunting me now. So let's go get another Reaver Axe. We can do another Recombinator, but this is like kind of the process. It's not great at the moment. There's like not really a much better way to kind of go about this, unfortunately. There's a Siege Axe. We can maybe slap that bad boy on there. Elemental rolls. There's a physical roll, but mostly elemental rolls. Another Siege Axe. Where's my Reaver Axes at? Oh, there's a percent phys. Maybe we could bump it up. Nope, it's all gone. Thanks, Rog. 4 physical rolls. You're trying to make a elemental weapon. Rog is king. He's king kahuna, big kahuna. But making physical weapons with Rog is like pulling teeth, kind of. All right, we got a Reaver Axe. Is the one I want. Here we go. Let's get those prefixes. Nope, there it goes. All right, well, we got a base. At least let's fix with it a little bit. So we have flat on, you know, on both of these. So we're looking for percent or hybrid. That's the goal. Don't forget, you can craft 130% from the vendor. So you're looking for either higher than that in percent or high hybrid, because a high hybrid would also be fantastic since you can craft on the full percent. But, you know, if we hit flaring, the tier 1 flat, we're just going to set this axe aside because it's easy to get another base, but it's hard to make an axe. So the rolls are harder to get than the bases. Also, don't forget, if you're alteration spamming, don't feel bad if you roll over a tier 1 whatever. It's inevitable. There's something hypnotically mind-numbing about alteration spamming that will drive you nuts. So Yeah, just accept fate. Tempered's tier 2, right? I'll toss a regal. Oh, sad. Hit fizz, but it's so low. Okay, there's tier 3 hybrid conquerors. So let's make it rare. We're gonna slap these two together. And hopefully it keeps all of my physical rolls. That's probably not going to. And what do we got? We have flat fizz, we have cold, we have fire. Alright. Well, the flat fizz really seems to want to stay on, which is cool. And where we go? Oh, it's a Val Hatchet. Said lightning, fire, elemental. Alright, there we go. Well, this is part of this is life. This is it. We've now lost all of our physical rolls. We're back to square one. We got a piece of shit. Welcome to crafting a weapon. This is the one I'm currently working with, which is like good hybrid with bad percent and a terrible fizz. So that's not good, but it's all I got, which is, you know, just goes to show this process is unfortunate. Now, you could do other things like fracture items and try to do that, but that's so much effort. And then eventually maybe all roads lead to that, or getting a fracture base, but then you can't recombinate, so it's a bunch of nonsense as well. But yeah, crafting a physical weapon is a real kick in the fucking sack. Hopefully this helps you in some way. Hopefully you're lucky at doing it. You know, this is Path of Exile. You might just slap a fucking alk on an item and it might be 61. Or again, maybe you'll have much better luck with Rog than I have. Maybe you have some good luck with Rog or Faustus or whoever. There's no shortage of ways to craft in the game. It's more of just a matter of, you know, finding what works for you. And ultimately, I think what works for you is going to be the thing that you enjoy doing the most, right? So if you enjoy doing Delve, do Fossils. If you enjoy doing Harvest, do that. If you enjoy doing Essence, do that. If you enjoy just alt spamming, go for that as well. Yeah, it's all roads lead to potential to make a new weapon. So I wish you the best of luck in making yours. I'm Matt Lighty. Have a good day. If you have any comments, concerns, or questions, or suggestions for how to craft a weapon, leave them below. Worst case scenario, just play trade and fucking buy one. All right, bye-bye.